Today is a new project that we're gonna do. I never done this before, but upon watching different YouTube videos, I kind of get the idea, and I think it is really genius. I got a Sculpey here. I'm under my fingernail. Okay, I am just going to put this aside. So this will be the book that we're going to make the cover for. I searched. It was the only one in my house that seemed quite suitable. Now, I don't really know how this works, but let's see. Where is my knife? I'm just going to cut them in little blocks so it's a lot easier to work with at the moment. Hang on, let me adjust my mic. Sorry guys, let me hear a little bit. There we go. So now I kind of chop them up into blocks. Wow, this one is a little harder than usual. Okay. Just gonna put some weight on it. Okay, I'm just gonna soften it a little, make it a little flexible to work with. Just gonna knead it out, and we're gonna do the same thing with the two blocks here. Okay, I can feel that it's getting softer, and you can even see it visually that it's a lot easier to mold it and roll it around again. So the first time I worked with polymer clay, it was amazing. And I worked with air dry clay before, and one of the things that I really didn't like about the air dry clay was the fact that it dried too fast, and once it dries you really can't play with it anymore. It's really that rigid. So I'm just going to cut this into half just to make my job a little easier. That is a workout for my fingers. The previous polymer clay I bought was not this hard, but it's I think this one is like from what I've heard, it's like you have two options to soften your clay. One is acrylic roller and the other one is a spaghetti roller, and the spaghetti roller is like what you see in the movies. Or when you see people make spaghetti, you know, they have that little metal machinery that kind of like you turn up the wheel and then you just put your dough through, and then it flattens it into a nice pancake kind of feel. So that one is kind of like the same concept, but an acrylic roller is definitely much easier to work with. So as I was saying, that, you know, working with polymer clay, it is amazing. It is soft, and it will stay like that until you put it in the oven and heat it up. So once you heat it up, it becomes very hard. Very solid too. This is my second project with polymer clay, and I am loving it so far. So now I'm like combining the two, and I'm just kind of like kneading it around. It's really like Play-Doh. Like, so you ever go to school and you play Play-Doh with your friends? You just can imagine the feeling. Like, it's really fun, back to basics when you were a kid. Okay, so I'm just gonna way and knead it around. Okay. Do not think this is big enough. I bought 2 blocks just in case. It is definitely not big enough. Just this comparison alone is definitely not enough, and now I am quite afraid if I have enough polymer to go around. Wow, this is quite a workout. You can see it kind of turns into like a big pancake. It is not that heavy, surprisingly. Okay, definitely not big enough. Okay. We'll take out another, and then I will do the same format, just kind of like soften it up, and then we'll see. Be right. Sorry. So yeah, basically you just kind of soften it, and then you just kind of like keep rolling till you get the shape and length you want. Looking at these 2 blocks is definitely not enough, or if it is enough, it's really just enough. Because honestly, I'm looking at it as well as the size of my book. Doesn't seem to be able to cover. 3 blocks, by the looks of it, will definitely be able to cover. I'm trying to see how thin we can go here, people. Okay, let's see. In terms of width, I think width is more than enough. We shall use that to our advantage to make it up for. I think length is good, but unfortunately it's the sides here that are lacking, so we have to bring the weight. Usually here would be quite thick, and we'll try to thin it down by distributing the thickness to other areas. So it's really like baking a pie, where you have to draw and shape the dough to the shape of your pie plate, as close to your pie plate as possible. I think we can make it. Barely, I guess. Okay, so I kind of make like a little border. Now I'm using my ruler. So then here will be like 13 centimeters. Here will be 19 centimeters. Just taking my ruler. I'll go as high as possible. I thought I could maximize it being 19 centimeters by 13. But I guess we can't do that either. Fifteen centimeters. Yeah. Yeah. Oh dear. Interesting. Okay, so I've learned something, and is that you should put the ruler on the inside of your work so you won't accidentally go out of line. And if you do go out of line, it will happen on the excess part and not your artwork that's on the inside. So that one was like the best. Okay, so let's say now we have the book. I'm showing this on top. Okay, so let's give this a go. I have a wooden template here. Oh God, give this a try. So I'm gonna take this out. So this is to make textures. Just gonna press it down as hard as I can. So you have all this kind of like wooden textures going about. So I guess it's kind of, don't be afraid of how much pressure you're going to put on it. Because the more weight you put on it, the more beautiful the pattern will come off. And just to be on the safe side, we'll just take our ball bearing stylus here and just gonna shape it ourselves. You can see the lines, we're just gonna make it a little deeper. So you can see all this texture going on, and that is very very beautiful. So we are continuing. I think it's been a few days since I worked on this, so this is what we got so far, and you can actually, it kind of like sets a little, so you can see all the texture that you probably couldn't have before in the previous video. Now you can see like there's like a layer of kind of like the paper has absorbed some liquid, so because polymer is oil based, hence why it doesn't dry out and why water doesn't really help thin out the clay. So I'm gonna try and paint the cabochon. Sorry, just trying to find the cabochon through this. But I'm just gonna so I want to try this out. This is a cabochon glass. So I'm gonna try and other corners paint it. And I got a little bit of bronze as well. So I'm just gonna add little drops of those. And we'll see what we come up with. It is all highly experimenting. You can actually see the something like that. So I'm going to take a palette knife and just kind of like smush it out. And just kind of spread it around. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna get here, but I am curious. So it's always great to just try new things, and just not be afraid. Okay, I'm just gonna let that sit. I got a little bit of chainmail silver here, and I'm just gonna incorporate that into the cabochon. Yeah. Where? I'm trying to look for my palette knife. Oh, there it is. I'm just gonna smear it around. That should do it, and I'll take my palette knife and just kind of go around this area. Yeah, so it kind of looks like a magical stone. That's what we're gonna do. Now, I am all about shortcuts, so I try to cheat. What I have with me here is a couple of molds that I'm gonna give them a try. I got a different color here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to soften it up and then mold it around. I'm just going to press it against the silicone mold. This is just kind of like a test run, just to see how it comes out. And I love this because I'm a very lazy person and I try to find anything I can do to cut my work time. And there you go. It's very quick. I'm gonna put it one side. This one is kind of like the older clay, so I'm just going to use it. Just gonna keep doing this. I don't quite like this one. I'll just kind of redo it. I'll go with another mold. Although I think they are all the same, really. So I am trying another mold. This time it is the leaves, and I'm just gonna take a little bit of that clay. Just gonna push it in. This one's very nice because it has different variable in size. Push it in and pull it out. Then you get this. However, you know what, wait, let me just do it one more time. Just need a proper surface. Push down. Those are excess. I don't need them. I don't need all this, so I just like to perhaps scrape them out. So I know it doesn't look very pretty at this moment, but I believe once you put in the paint, it will start to look much better. So these will look like that, and I got my knife. I'm just going to cut any excess off. And then we have various sizes, and so we can add in maybe this size. Now, I also want to do leaves for the corners here, like a border. I'm gonna try that with the biggest leaf. I thought to put this in the middle. Okay, put some clay in there and then cover it with all these flowers. Okay, today we are going to start to paint this, and when I bought this, I didn't have anything in mind on what to sculpt, so I just bought a random color, and so here I am. I'm going to have to go through this process. So I'm gonna paint this naturally brown because, you know, it's a tree bark. So I'm gonna paint it using a big brush. Then as I slowly come down to the nitty gritty, I'm gonna use a smaller brush. Of course, it's a lot easier to just grab the color you want. So like if you have this in mind, just grab dark green, dark brown, you know, it will help make things easier. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna take another page. Okay, now that I have a much more suitable size brush, we can carry on painting. Oh dear. So if you have your own colors, it would make things much easier. You can just get like dark brown for the wood, or you can get dark green for the leaves, and probably red for the flowers. And then after that, all that I actually ever plan to do is just dry brush it, just to give it that texture thing going on. Like you guys, I mean, those who know me knows how much I like dry brushing to really bring out that texture mode. So my plan is to paint this brown. After that, I'm gonna go with the ink. That's kind of like a very concentrated, watery paint, and I'm gonna use a chestnut ink that will give like a very dark brown. This will help a lot to give it more depth, and then I'll just dry brush it light brown. Or in this case, I think normal raw sienna will do already, which is the color I'm using anyway right now. So I don't have to lighten it or, you know, stuff like that. I think 2 layers should be enough. This is my first time doing a polymer clay book cover, and I've seen some of them. They look really good, and I don't really know how to approach this. So I'm approaching this with what I do know, which is I could use mold, those sculpture mold, those clay mold, sorry. And yeah, you can see that I just want things fast. I don't necessarily want to learn how to sculpt, but I just love the creating all this. So that's why I thought having a mold for this would be really interesting. Not necessarily the size 00, but I just wanted to make sure. These edges here, get some brown. Okay, so what I'm using is a chestnut ink. You can't really read it because it's inverted. That's because my webcam is reading this upside down. So I think it's pretty dry. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this. It can be quite intense. So I'm just gonna dilute it with a little bit of water. You can see it's quite intense here. So what this will do is, because it's watery, it will seep into the cracks and creases, and this will kind of create depth and texture, especially since this is like a wood kind of texture. So you want the insides to look really dark. Now this one works well, other than the using, like, as compared to black mixed with brown, because the brown of this is just that much more intense. It just kind of grabs your eye looking at it. You can see the lines of the sculpture. Just kind of like makes it pop a little. This is how you use inks. This is especially good for sculptures and miniatures. It kind of depends on what you're going for, the look you're going for. And I think by the time it dries, it just kind of has this like glaze finish. It looks kind of shiny as well. So you can see as it sets in, you can actually see all the lines being covered. So I'm just gonna like cover the sides as well. I'm just gonna make sure everything's included, so I'm just gonna turn this. Okay, it kind of looks that way. You can't discriminate, you gotta make sure the sides here are affected too. Okay. Okay, so now we have like a nice chestnut-ish color. Now I'm not really sure how this is gonna look. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dry brush. See if I can find my pink color. There you go, white. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dry brush. I'm not exactly sure how this is gonna go down. I'm not sure whether it'll look good or whether it just looks good enough like that. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of white paint here. Got my tube, and I'm just gonna take it down. And I have a cloth with me, and right now I'm wiping any excess paint off my brush onto the cloth. And I think we'll just kind of start right here. So what this does is it kind of creates a whole lot of texture. for your sculpture. Now, so the chestnut ink has seeped to the bottom, and now what we're going to do is we're going to decorate the top. So I'm just trying out a little spot here. I'm not really sure how this would look like, so I'm just going to try just a small part of it. So now I finally cleaned my bigger brush. Now we can do the dry brushing with ease. So this is the wonders of dry brushing. It can be quite tedious, but I quite like how it pops, so I'm just gonna persist on the lighter color. She quite like how it's turning out, really. You can really see the texture. So I quite like the chestnutty color, so I'm just gonna overlay it with the chestnut ink one more time. And just for this one, I'm going to do it really diluted. I don't want it to get too dark and just undo everything that I've done. You can see it looks a little bit dark. So I'm just diluting that. It's kind of like glaze it over. It's kind of add a little bit of contrast to it as well. This time I'm just going to go with a raw sienna dry brush. No white involved, I don't want it to become a little too washed out. And that's it. Now we're going to move on to the leaves and the flowers. So continuing from the other day, we are going to start painting the leaves. So I kind of painted this small section here, so what I'm using is a permanent green light by Golden Artist Colors. I will include that into the artist notes so you guys can refer to what color I'm using. And I'll try to go carefully because now that we have painted the background, it is quite important to make sure you don't undo your work because it's all nicely painted already. Let's see if we can get the light closer. Okay, yep, there you go. I'm trying carefully, and also the sides. Pre-planning is very good in the sense that you don't have to worry about painting all this. You can just worry about dry brushing and not worry about coloring the foundation and everything. Like, let's just say if I go with this green, I can just straight away dry brush it or whatever I want. I don't have to like lay down the basic colors. So if you pre-plan, that's good. But if you're like me, that I know I want to sculpt something, but I just don't know what, and then I just buy a random block of color. For those who don't know how to pre-plan, there are two ways to go about this. One, you can be like me and paint the colors, or two, buy every clay color that's there. Not so much on the economic side, but yeah, I mean, when you think about it, you are going to use every color of the rainbow sooner or later. I mean, it kind of depends if you were serious about it. When I started this out, I mean, this is my second polymer clay sculpture. The first one I did was an Umbreon I did for my boyfriend. So yeah, after that I wasn't too sure about it. I wasn't too sure if this is what I want to venture into. I mean, I heard polymer clay was good. I tried the Umbreon and I had a ton of fun, but how far I will dive into, I am not sure. So I still am using, you know, I am like touching the water with my toes, just testing out the temperature. So far I am having a ton of fun. I will admit there is like so many things you can do with polymer clay. Like number one, you can do this. You can just, you know, whatever you have in your head, you can just lay it out. And it's not that difficult. As in like, you just have fun with it, you know? And then you get all your little miniatures. Like sometimes miniatures you do need a little bit of something. Like for example, miniatures you need trees. And sometimes all those ready available trees are not very good. So you could sculpt your own. That would be awesome as well. So yeah, all those things. Or sculpting is definitely one of them that I plan to do. I love. Well, the whole reason why I got into clay, polymer clay, was, I mean, sculpting actually. The whole reason why I want to sculpt is because I like painting. I like coloring. But my problem was that I want to specifically, you know, sometimes when I have something in mind as a sculpture, I can't. I just want to paint it, but either A, it is way out of my budget, 2, you can't find it, it doesn't exist. So that's why I thought to go into sculpting. At first I thought I could, you know, skip the whole hassle and just go straight to 3D printing. Yeah, it's not the same. 3D printing sacrifices a lot of detail. I don't know whether it can be the quality of the printer, but you know, I mean, I think it is unavoidable because, you know, you have all that filament of plastic to, you know, and then it just kind of prints out layer after layer. And I think it is quite unavoidable. Like you will always see there will be like layers and layers of plastic climbing on top of each other in order to make the shape that you want. And in order to smoothen this out, you're gonna need gesso, and then you gotta sand it down, and that takes up a lot of detail. So it's not good work. Second are like plaster molds, but most of the time I can't really, at least in Malaysia. I've seen some that are online America, and the molds are really good, like quite detailed, I admit, and I wish they would have it here. But over here it's more of a kiddie thing to let your kids paint plaster figurines. It's actually a very kiddie thing. So all the models you find, they're all very kiddish style, very cartoony, and I'm a realist painter. I just kind of, I love realism, so it's quite hard for me to accept a kiddie mold. So this is the green before. I guess this green kind of looks more like a natural dark green to it. This one looks a little bit more artificial, but it does make the colors pop a little more. So if this one is kind of like, it's more towards the color popping aesthetics. And then after this, I am gonna do the same thing. I have two inks. One was the chestnut ink, which is the brown one, and the other one, I can't remember what the green one is called, but I do have a green one as well. Honestly, I don't spend money on inks, but I think it's a good, if you're gonna do this on a regular basis, then I would say it is a good idea to get it. I'm quite a cheapskate, so I usually don't, but it is definitely a good idea. The effects it gives is pretty good. I would say worth your money. Now I got a little bit of excess green here. It is, don't be alarmed, we're definitely going to use it. If not for the mid-tone, then for the highlights later. We're going to mix it with a little bit of yellow and white. I like that greenish yellowish green to it, so we're gonna do that. Before we do that, we're gonna take a little brush here and we're gonna paint the sides, because we want, if you want to do a good job, you gotta do a good job. No two ways about it. And this time we have to be extra cautious because yeah, I'm trying to like make my job easier. Oh dear, see, I'm not careful. This is what happened. I got some stuff right in there. Okay. So I'll try to eliminate as much work as possible by painting the green on green, like the second tier leaves here. We don't need a small little brush on that. Just gotta be careful around the edges here. But other than that, it's all good. So when I try to bake this, ugh, the smell was unpleasant. So stinky. So I think the next time I paint this, I'm gonna wear a mask. Okay, stick out a little bit on the side here. Two more sets, and then we just go with the last tier leaves. Hang on, let me check my phone. I think I switched off my hotspot. No, I did not. Okay, lucky I checked. Because there is no Wi-Fi upstairs here. I don't know why the router doesn't seem to be working. So. Sorry about that, just need to adjust it just a little so I can do this in comfort and you guys can still see what I'm doing. I'm just painting the sides here because the thickness is still shown. We are almost done with this. This one looks very brown, so we're just gonna color that. Okay. Oops. This part here. Okay. Now we're gonna take a little brush, like I showed you before. We gotta be very careful with this, guys. I'm gonna take a little brush, dab in that little luscious green, and we're gonna paint the leaf closest to the wood. See, sometimes people notice the little things you do, and it's kind of like an Easter egg. When you do it, people will go like, wow, the attention to detail. And sometimes they have this little a little excitement knowing that they've found the amount of details you do so stunning. Like, I was playing God of War, and I was sorry, forgive my Norse mythology, it's really bad. So there's this part where Kratos was holding a head of another god, and he was carrying with him everywhere he go. And when the kid was talking, I wondered if the creators were like a little lazy about that and not make his mouth move, because for the most time his head is not actually obvious in the angle. So I thought they would, like, you know, lazy, take the easy way out and not bother about it. But as he talked, and I noticed that his mouth actually moved and everything, I was like, whoa, the attention to detail on that. And then I just like wow, I did not expect that. I feel like very impressed. So you just kind of want that to happen for your own artwork. I mean, when you put the love and attention to it, that's all that matters. People will naturally appreciate what you've done. So don't fret, don't worry, just enjoy the process. I mean, if you enjoy it, people will just naturally enjoy it with you. I think that's the wonderful thing about art, or anything in life, really. You just gotta enjoy and take your time. That is for sure. I think everybody is finding it difficult to find happiness. There's always a lot of this feeling of existential nihilism. I know I had it. To not know what to do with your life, to feel lost. I think everybody goes through that. I think it's a normal human thing. But once it used to be, I think it's because in today's age where everything is so visually available to you, like for example the internet and Instagram. and you know, sometimes you feel like when you see Instagram and then you see everything, all the great works, all the professionals doing it, and the amount of likes and comments they get, it just feels so like, whoa, this is a little too much, then you start to look at your own work, and then you start to feel that it's not good enough. And you know, it's don't do that, because you're just stressing yourself out, and for what, really? You just gotta be happy with what you get, with what you have. Because if you're always striving for perfection, I hate to break it to you, but perfection does not exist. It is something your mind concocted, thinking that is your secret recipe to happiness, but actually is sabotaging yourself to be miserable. And that is very dangerous, because you don't know it, but you're setting yourself up to fail. I mean, and even if you do work out, if you do reach the point of your goal, it will still be another day. There will be no happy ending. You know, life still goes on, and after that, it's just another day. Just another day after you reach your goal. You know, it's, you put so much expectation for the day you reach your goal, and then when it comes, it's just more or less another day, really. So the point is that you shouldn't give yourself so much unnecessary pressure. I know I do, and it took me a long time to realize it. I just realized it. And yeah, hopefully you realize, if you ever have these kind of problems, hope you realize what's wrong, and by knowing what is wrong, you get better. So my idea, two more sets. Oh no, we still have some more people. We still got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we got flowers to do after that. I thought I could finish this tonight, but I guess not. It's okay. Just need patience. I guess patience is another thing I don't have. They say patience is a virtue which I do not have. So I just, living in the modern generation, I tell you, I just want to, every little thing, just want to be quick. Emails, just send, okay, just receive. You know, it's like everything is just so fast. The whole world is trying to be more efficient. Everything is like about efficiency, productivity. And that's another thing that just kind of gets you feeling a little, you know, subpar. Okay, for some reason, I don't know, I thought it would have a really cool name. It just says dark green ink, nothing special. I thought it would be pretty cool, like just now it's like a chestnut ink, wow. This one is just dark green, so, you know. Okay guys, let me just take a brush, get some dark green in there, dilute it, and paint it. Mostly because of the veins of the leaf. I really want to accentuate. I think it's much better if we go with a smaller brush. Just really pick our battles with this. There you go. It's so much better. Wait, one second, make it better for you guys. It's a little bit overexposed, but just so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm just taking a brush, getting some green ink, and I am just aiming for the veins of the leaves. So similar to the wood, where all the ink will just fall into place on the cracks and creases. It's like the same concept. Outline. To add a little bit of contrast, especially once you start dry brushing the highlights. That's when everything really starts to pop. Can't really see the dark leaves because it's way too dark. But it does make a difference. I'll just keep doing this for every single leaf, and then I'll dry brush every single leaf. Now when I do the flowers, sorry about that, brain at night not working. When I do the flowers, it will be red. I don't have a red ink for that. In fact, I don't know. No, I don't think I'm going to do a red ink because it doesn't go that deep. As in, like, it's not so much like the leaves and the wood. It's not like a flat surface. Okay. gonna start with a little bit of ivory green. Ivory green is kind of like this. It's like a lime green. It's a little watery because it's out from the bottle. But then I guess it's nice because it's wet, so it kind of blends a little. So I guess this one's kind of like more of a glaze when you think about it. This one will be a little faster. This is kind of liquidy as well, so it's not really much of a dry brush. We are almost done. This is a little tricky because it's so three-dimensional. So I'll just do the best I can. The rest I'll probably need a small brush. I gotta be really careful with this. Wouldn't want to undo all my hard work. We are almost there. Okay, so now that we sorry guys, dropped the cap. Okay, so now we're almost there, and we are back to dry brushing. It seems the red is still quite wet, hence why the white is combining colors with it. Okay, I'm just gonna take my hair dryer. Okay, it's much better now. Now, if I don't feel confident about it, I can always use a smaller brush. I have a smaller brush, just in case. I told you I have a little brush to do dry brushing. So that's what I'm going to do right here. Certain areas that are just too small. Honestly, not much is missed out because actually the medium-sized brush kind of got almost everything, so. Nothing to be alarmed. That's it. Yay! And it's really simple.